Hello everyone, we are from SGDB2, majoring in graduate and professional doctor studies, and we would like to present our special topic student projects entitled Travel to Cold Climates. Before we start our presentation, I would like to express our gratitude for all the guidance provided to us during the making of this student project, and I would like to specifically thank Dr. Dewa Ayu Agusri Laksmi, MSc, and as our facilitator, and Dr. Anita Devi, MSI, as our evaluator. So, without further ado, let's begin. Before we start our presentation, here are the identities of our group members that has contributed to the making of this student project. As of the table of contents of these student projects, we will divide it into three chapters. The first chapter is introduction, which consists of background, problem formulations, objective, and benefits. As for the contents, it will consist of definitions, health risk, which is further consisting of hypothermia, freezing cold injuries, non-freezing cold injuries, and then risk management and roles of healthcare staff in travel medicines. And for the final chapter will be summary, which include conclusions and feedback.
Hello, my name is Nika Mangayo Mendes Jaya with my registration number 037. I would like to start the presentations by explaining the background of our student project. The World Tourism Organization Barometer has reported that a decline number of international tourists due to COVID-19 outbreak in 2019. It was estimated that 54 million international tourist arrivals in July 2021. By this year, it is also reported that 57% of the world population has received at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccines and 8.81 billion doses have been administered around the world. This rapid progress of vaccine administrations has increased the international tourist demands and confidence to start traveling again. A study found that 10,649 natural weather deaths from 2006 to 2010 in the United States, of which two-thirds of these cases were mostly attributed to cold climates. The most common case is hypothermia, with a prevalence of 0.13 until 6.9 cases per 100,000 per year in European countries and New Zealand. Hypothermia could lead to dysfunction in vital organs, including irregular heartbeat, brain, kidney failure, liver damage, loss of consciousness, and bleeding disorder. Another conditions for traveler in cold climates are at risk of freezing cold injuries and non-freezing cold injuries. These are the problem formulations. In what is cold climates travel? What are the health risks of traveling to cold climates area? What is the risk management for traveling to cold climates area? What is the role of healthcare staff of travel medicines? And the objective, including knowing the definition of cold climate area, knowing the health risks of traveling to cold climate area, knowing the risk management for traveling to cold climate area, and knowing the role of healthcare staff of travel medicines. And the benefits are able to know the definition of cold climate travel, able to know the health risks of traveling to cold climate area, able to know the risk management for traveling to cold climate area, and able to know the role of healthcare staff of travel medicines.
My name is Phoebe Escala and my student ID is 169 and I'm going to explain about the definition of travel to cold climate. According to Cambridge Dictionary, travel means to make a journey, usually over a long distance. It could also mean to move or go from one place to another. International Panel on Climate Change define climate in a narrow sense as the statistical description terms of the mean and variability of relevant quantities like temperature, wind, and precipitation over a period of time, ranging from months to thousands or millions of years. To put it simply, climate is the average weather of a specific region over a period of time. In a wider sense, it could mean the state of climate system. A cold climate is a region with approximately 5,400 heating degree days on 65 degree Fahrenheit basis, or fewer than approximately 9,000 heating degree days on 65 degrees Fahrenheit basis. Simply, cold climate is characterized by having cold temperature for the majority time of the year. Hence, travel to cold climates means to make a journey to a region that have cold temperature for most days of the year. That's all from me. Thank you.
I shall continue the presentation. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Putu Eskiraipa with the last three digit number 103. I will present about the health risks associated with travel to cold climates. As we know, traveling everywhere carries its own health risks, and when traveling to a place with cold climates, it has its own many health risks that needs to be considered and anticipated. As for one of the health risks associated with cold climates travel is hypothermia, which can be defined as a condition in which the body core temperature drops significantly below normal range, resulting in dysfunctionalities of the body's physiological systems. It usually occurs when the core body temperature drops below 35 degrees Celsius. There are several ways we can type hypothermia. By etiology, it can be divided into two types, which is primary hypothermia, caused by thermoregulatory systems of the body overwhelmed by cold exposure, resulting in drop of body core temperature. Secondary hypothermia is caused by underlying disease. If we type it by severity or core temperatures of the case, it can be divided into mild hypothermia, in which the body temperature is around 32 to 35 degrees Celsius, moderate hypothermia, when the body core temperatures drop into 28 to 32 degrees Celsius, and severe hypothermia, in which the body temperature drops below 28 degrees Celsius.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cassandra Tenedamaro with my last screen named DJS152, and I'll be explaining about the Swiss staging system. Normally, commercial thermometer cannot read below 35 degrees Celsius. So, to gain a reading, and for practical purposes, measuring the severity of hypothermia can be done by checking at the symptoms that the patient is manifesting. To this end, the Swiss staging system for hypothermia can be used. At stage 1, the patient is normally seen shivering and still conscious. At stage 2, the patient began to show alteration of mental status and an absence of shivering. At stage 3, the patient will normally be unconscious but still detectable vital signs. While in stage 4, the most severe stage, patient can be seen unconscious with undetectable vital signs. So the next explanation will be continued by my friend. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Igusti Ayu Ika Franitani Ferranti. With the 3 last digits of my student identification number is 064. Today I'd like to tell you about the management of patient with hypothermia. There are 3 types of management of patient with hypothermia. The first one is insulation or vapor barrier materials. A hypothermic patient treatments begin with removing the patient from the cold environment or any dangerous conditions, removing wet clothes, insulating, and providing a vapor barrier. They must have a body core temperature of more than 32 degrees Celsius. The patient thermoregulatory mechanisms and endocrine function must be intact and also has sufficient energy stores to produce endogenous heat. And vapor barriers has the advantage of preventing evaporative heat loss, reducing convective heat loss, and keeping any insulation dry. Hot pocket is an effective way to reduce heat loss. Second one is external heat sources. To effectively remove the chronic and moderate or severe hypothermia, where shivering is reduced or absent, we need an active warming methods. This means that heat must be generated externally from the outside of the patient body. Electrical, chemical, or culture burning hot packs, as well as body-to-body warming, are recommended in multiple guidelines. And the last one is heat sources with internal heat transmission. The use of warm breath oxygen, infusion of warm intravenous fluid, a drink with high carbohydrate content will contribute on further cooling.
Hello everyone, my name is Yusufina Garzataji with last 3 digits student ID number 087, and I will going to explain the freezing cold injuries. Frostbite is damage caused by tissue freezing that can be prone to occur in people who work outdoors, get injured in vehicle accidents, and sport enthusiasts, including mountain climbers. Cognitive impairment due to alcohol, drugs, or psychiatric condition is often seen in the civilian population. Severity was observed in 4 degrees of severity. In the first degree was found central white plaque, was not surrounded by erythema but no blisters. In the second degree, blister formation is surrounded by erythema and edema. And in the third degree, blisters fill with clear or milky fluid within the first 24 hours. Depth of the skin and subcutaneous tissue forms hemorrhagic blisters, resulting in black scar 2 to 3 weeks later in the third degree. In the fourth degree of frostbite, we can found there is tissue necrosis, gangrene, and finally complete loss of tissue thickness. Initially hard, cold, white, and numb body parts after the warming.
I'm Gil with the student identification number of 133. Now let us continue our discussion about freezing cold injuries. Freezing cold injuries consist of hypothermia and frostbites, both of which has been discussed quite thoroughly by my colleague. Now let us dig a little bit deeper into frostbite. Frostbite is a condition where the body receives cellular injuries due to freezing temperature exposure of tissues. The cellular injury can happen directly or indirectly. When exposed to temperature below its freezing point, human tissues will suffer from cell dehydration, shrinkage, disturbance of electrolytes, lipoprotein denaturation, and thermal shocks, which leads to cell injury and death. Freezing temperatures may also increase the formation of ice crystal within the tissues, causing cell injury and death. Indirectly, freezing temperature can cause endothelial damage, increasing the level of inflammatory mediators, the level of free radicals, causing intravascular sludging, while also causing thrombosis, which cause ischemia, which can kill the cells. Frostbite's early clinical presentation includes feeling cold and numb, frostnip, and hypothermia. All of these symptoms is important to be recognized, as early recognition means early treatment, which means better chance at better recovery. When these symptoms are encountered, travelers should be encouraged to turn back to open field and seek shelter immediately. Then, travelers should rehydrate, replace clothing that may cause further exposure to cold temperatures, and start rewarming.
Hello everyone, my name is Madita Iswari with the last 3 digit student number is 118. Today I would like to explain about non-freezing cold injuries. Non-freezing cold injuries or NFCI happen because of cold weather exposure, and it is also known as trench foot or foot immersion. The term trench foot is because NFCI often affects feet, mostly the soft tissue, even to the deep down of the distal part of extremities, including the nerves and vessels. Even though it mainly affects feet, it also can affect our hands and other parts of our body. The symptoms appear when staying in a cold situation around 0 to 50 degrees Celsius for a long period of time, and also associated with moisture. The stage of NFCI can be divided one by one based on the symptoms. There are 4 stages of NFCI. The first one is ischemia caused by vascular stasis. When it continues to be second stage, it may result in pre-hyperemic and the victim numb. For the third stage, hyperemia happens. If it continues to be first stage, nerve damage can be found and causes persistent numbness on feet. NFCI lasts for 10 to 14 hours, and tissue damage is the final result of capillary deterioration. Other factors that cause NFCI besides cold weather are dampness and possibly oversweating. That's all from me. Thank you.
I will introduce myself first. My name is Joko Desinada Pamayo with the last digit number of 165, and today I will continue the presentation about non-freezing cold injuries. So here I will explain the complication that could happen with NFCI. So tissue necrosis or infection can make non-freezing cold injuries worse in the short term, and victims may resume walking with a slapping, flat-footed, and springless stride. And this normally takes approximately a week to actually resolve. And some NFCI victims are no longer able to work outside ever again. Military soldiers may be unable to deploy in extreme instances, particularly to frigid climates. And there are several management that we could do to avoid NFCI. But actually, there hasn't been any research into specific ways to avoid NFCI. The easiest approach to avoid these non-freezing cold injuries is actually to stay away from wet cold. Warm water immersion injuries have led to the development of certain recommended methods, and warm water immersion food can be avoided by air drying your feet for at least 8 hours each day. And when it comes to tropical immersion food, it is recommended that you dry your feet for a day after every 2 days of immersion. So that's all from me. The next presentation will be continued by my friend. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dewa Ibn Matasari, registered number of 2002511211. So today I would like to explain about the risk management of traveling to the cold climates. So the first one, we have to prepare appropriate gear for the weather, climate, and also activities. Travelers are suggested to use waterproof shoes with strong traction. And also, they have to choose a thick enough wetsuit for water sports to avoid hypothermia. Besides that, travelers also have to use personal flotation devices or PFDS because PFDS can save person's life if their users are unable to swim or have injuries of the cold. And the second one, we have to wear several loose layers of warm clothing. Travelers can wear a wind-resistant closely woven coat and jacket. Also, they can wear mittens, hats, and scarves as inner layers of light, warm clothing. And the last one, we have to stay dry and don't ignore shivering while traveling to the cold climates, because when the body is wet, it loses heat quickly. Sweat and damp clothing can quickly drop the body's temperature and can cause heat loss. Shivering is a symptom that the body is losing heat early on. Constant shivering indicates that travelers should seek refuge and warm up.
My name is Karina with student number 2002511003, and I will be explaining about the roles of healthcare staff in travel medicine. Travel health practitioner may come from an expanding number of professions, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, to name a few. But regardless of profession, the minimum standard of practice should be the same. Because family physicians and community pharmacists are often the first point of contact for patients who will be traveling abroad, they play a pivotal role in identifying at-risk travelers and emphasizing the importance of obtaining pre-travel consultation. Based on a nationwide survey conducted in Germany, there are a few roles of healthcare professionals in travel medicine, specifically between general practitioners and patients, such as giving patients pre-travel advice and immunization, giving counseling for patients with medical or other condition, and giving post-travel consultation for returning patients. That is all for me. Thank you.
My name is Adifa Gunapitra Pratama, and I'm here to tell you about the conclusion of our student project. Travel means to make a journey, usually over a long distance. Travel could also mean to move or go from one place to another. Climate is the average weather of a specific region over a period of time, and simply a cold climate is characterized by having cold temperatures for the majority of the year. Hence, travel to a cold climate means to make a journey to a region that has cold temperatures for most day of the year. Travel to cold climate regions carries several health risks, such as hypothermia, freezing cold injuries, and non-freezing cold injuries. According to studies, most travelers are susceptible to cold injuries as a result of accidents, extreme unexpected weather, or inadequate planning. To ensure that cold climate tourists do not suffer from any injuries in their destination, the following are the precautions that they should take, such as wearing several loose layers of warm clothing. Make sure their gear is appropriate for the weather, climate, and activities they will be doing. Stay dry because when the body wet, body loses heat quickly. We should not ignore shivering because shivering is a symptom that body is losing heat early on. There are a few roles of healthcare professionals in travel medicine, specifically between physicians and patients, such as giving patients pre-travel advice and immunization, giving counseling for patients with medical or other conditions, and giving post-travel consultations for returning patients. Okay, I think that's all from us. We apologize if there's any mistake in our presentation. Thank you so much.